Hey, what is up everybody? It is Wick here, and I thought I'd make a video about retail arbitrage and Amazon FBA. Kind of how it is right now. I see a lot of very positive videos coming out all over the internet. A lot of gimmicky ones where you can make all this money, but they don't really talk about the negative side of doing this and how actually difficult it is for new sellers. So I'm going to be a bit negative in this video, but I want to say don't let that discourage you. You have to look at all the negative sides when you're doing something like this, and then you got to figure out how you're going to overcome them and kind of get to know what you're getting into. So let's take a look at what is FBA and retail arbitrage. A lot of people don't really understand what FBA is. It's basically fulfillment by Amazon. Is FBA means you ship in everything you want to sell to Amazon. They store it in their fulfillment centers. When your item sells, Amazon picks, packs, and ships the product. They even handle returns. There are fees to cover all these services, including storage fees and products stored in their warehouses. The power of FBA is that you can sell thousands of items with much less work than eBay. You pay more fees, but you move more inventory. It's like having employees, and not to mention Amazon is the largest online retailer. So dealing with them, you're getting the best exposure. So that's basically the gist of it. So if you didn't understand what retail arbitrage was or FBA, that is what it means. And here's what new Amazon FBA sellers should be knowing. It is much harder to get started selling on Amazon than just a few years ago. Many categories are restricted for new sellers. If you're doing FBA, then you need to have a professional account, which costs $40 a month. Now, here's the thing. When you're starting out on Amazon now, you're going to be restricted in a lot of things you're allowed to sell. You're going to be scanning, looking for product. You're going to start getting upset because you can't find, or you keep finding stuff that you just not allowed selling. And that's because they've blocked a lot of that for new sellers because they can't trust you, to be honest. They don't know you. They have to make sure you sell for a while and prove yourself that you're going to be following their guidelines, and you're going to be a good seller. You're not going to hurt their name. After that, things will start opening up. From what I understand, it is random, it seems. I don't know how they decide. I'm just kind of grandfathered in a lot of stuff because I've been selling now for over 5 years, and I'm lucky I got in when I did. I wish I would have got in even sooner. But then there's things like DVDs where you're not going to just get unlocked in. You're going to have to buy it from a manufacturer, have those invoices, and prove you're getting them from somebody reliable, because there's so much piracy and counterfeiting going on Amazon. They're just trying to protect stuff. Also, if you're doing FBA and you don't have a professional account, you're going to have stuff locked down. You're going to have stuff taken away. When you want to do Amazon FBA, you want to go hard. You don't want to be selling like 5 things a month. It's just going to cost you more money in the end. It's not going to be worth it. So a professional account is $40 a month, and what that does is it unlocks certain benefits, and the biggest one is it takes away $1 out of the fees. I don't remember what the fee was called. So basically, if you're selling more than 40 items a month, you need a professional account. And this is FBA. I'm not talking about merchant fulfilled where you ship everything yourself and store it at your house. That's something completely different. I'm not really focusing on that in this video. So in my opinion, you shouldn't even start FBA until you feel like you can start selling more than 40 items, because then I sell about 300. If I wasn't a professional account seller, that would be $300 more in fees. It just makes sense to have a professional account, and the fact that it unlocks certain categories for you. You need to be sourcing a good amount of items every month to make shipments and fees cost effective. Amazon decides what products go to what fulfillment centers. So if you're not selling a lot of things, when you ship in an Amazon FBA, say you have 100 items, Amazon will look at those 100 items and they'll divide them to where they need to go to what fulfillment center. Usually the bulk of it will go to one fulfillment center. Usually mine goes to one, and then there's another one that maybe they just split off like 20 items. But if you're only selling 5 items, or you're only sending in 5 items at a time, you're not selling many items, then the fees to send those to the fulfillment center is going to be really high. Now, Amazon has a deal with UPS where they get extremely high discounts. I can ship a 50-pound box for $10 usually. And that's got a ton of items. I'm usually going to make $1,000 on that box. So it's like, that's so cheap. It's so good. But if he's only sending in 5 items and they put 3 of them in one box and you was paying, you wouldn't have to pay 10 because it wouldn't be that heavy, but you still probably have to pay like $5 or $6. You're just cutting into your profits more. I'm not saying you have to go super hard, selling thousands, 200,000 items a month or something like that, but you need to just be aware. I usually get 100 items at least, and then I do a shipment, unless it's something I need to get out. And then there's some items, there might be 5 items where you're making $100 profit, and it makes sense to ship 1 to each fulfillment center or something. It's just cost effective. So you just have to look at it kind of in that sense. Amazon has very strict rules, and the learning curve is higher than eBay and similar platforms. You really need to understand the rules on Amazon or you will be gone so quick. They're so much different than eBay. Like shipping a box into FBA, it can't be over 50 pounds. There's certain void fill you have to use. You can't use styrofoam in your package. There's so many rules, like what labels to put on, what to polybag. You have to know all of that. So if you're thinking about doing this, make sure you read all the rules, look for videos online about the rules, and just learn as much as you, and they're constantly changing. And if you don't keep up with them, Amazon's not going to take your side when you break them. They say, well, it's your responsibility to know these rules. Amazon's pretty good at alerting people at changes, but it's still your responsibility. When you're doing retail arbitrage, you have to have a lot of capital and risk a lot more money to be successful. Unlike thrifting and buying stuff for $1 and selling it for 20, is not as big of a risk. Retail arbitrage, you usually don't find stuff cheap enough. You're usually spending, $10 to make $10, $10 to make $5. And you're spending a lot more at these stores because you find multiple items. And a lot of people, they see my videos where I have a video where I make $1,000 or $2,000 projected income. Of course, this is just what I'm projecting usually, unless it's a video where I actually showed what I sold. And they're thinking, wow, I can make a living on that, And then they go to start buying the stuff and they realize, wow, to make this $2,000, I would have to spend $2,000. But it's not only that. I always use the Walmart example. Think about Walmart opening a new store. They have to spend millions of dollars on inventory to fill that store, and that inventory does not sell that month. It just trickles down, and they make profit off of what they do sell. And that's a lot like reselling. I feel like I spend close to $10,000 a month on inventory, and my return every month, when you're starting out, is not going to be that high because you would have to sell everything. If you spend $2,000 and you need to make $2,000 a month to live on, you're not going to be able to sell all 2,000 items. Usually, realistically, I hold stuff anywhere from 6 months to a year before I sell it all. Some stuff I can sell real quick. But the thing is, as you go and you're spending $5,000, $10,000 a month on inventory, and it's building up, and then you're cycling through the old inventory, and then it all works out. You're making a great income. But to do that, you have to spend a lot of money. And now just doing this kind of as a hobby, making extra money on the side, and you're not worried about bills, that's one thing. But I see a lot of people looking at this and saying, that's a ton of money, I can do this for a living. Just know, especially if a new seller comes in, you're going to be restricted in almost everything. And then you got to spend a lot of money. And I don't think a lot of videos or people that are doing this kind of stress that enough. So I wanted to make sure to do that. So IP, intellectual property, and counterfeit claims are real and will keep getting worse. This is where a brand owner will see that you're selling a product on Amazon, and they will contact Amazon and tell them you're not allowed to sell it, that you're counterfeiting their product. They do this because they don't want their name damaged, for one, and second, they don't like the competition, especially if they're involved in selling this product. And it's kind of dirty. It's very sketchy on Amazon. I like to compare Amazon to the Wild West right now. There's not a lot of rules. People are just trying to break rules and hurt others, and there's not a lot of law going on right now. But that is changing. However, you got to be careful for these. There's companies that will buy, like Linksys will buy a product, and then they will do a counterfeit claim after they get it saying it was a counterfeit product. I think that's really dirty, especially since a brand owner can actually block people from selling unless they prove that they're authorized to sell the product. If you're doing retail arbitrage, it's definitely a risk because you're supposed to have proper outlets from distributors from every product you sell. However, the lure of money obviously makes it so people will still do this. And that's how a lot of people are getting kicked off Amazon. They're great sellers. However, they're getting attacked by these counterfeit claims. I wish these brand owners would just block what they don't want, and then they couldn't sell. It's that simple. And it's really, really frustrating. So here you can get kicked off Amazon quick for selling products you're not authorized to sell, which is most sellers. Amazon has like over 3 million third-party sellers, which they make a fortune off of. And they know that I would say at least half of these people are selling items they're not authorized to sell. They're buying them. They're doing retail arbitrage. Amazon is not in the dark. They know these videos that I'm producing and other people producing are out. They know people do this. However, these a lot of times are products that they are not keeping in stock anymore. And because they don't sell as well and Amazon doesn't want to invest the money, so their third-party people are bringing these products to Amazon. Amazon's satisfying the customer demand, and they are making a profit off of the fees and everything. So Amazon's win-win-win. Now, when a company complains about these products, obviously Amazon's going to have to do something about it. But like I said, the Wild West, Amazon's trying to, keep a balance, because if all the third-party sellers went to eBay to sell these products, Amazon would lose a lot of money. You're putting your business in the hands of Amazon. You have little control if they change something that hurts your income. Amazon, we all know it's a powerhouse, and they make their own rules and they can change their rules, and they also are not very clear on their rules just to kind of confuse people. Not to confuse people, but to leave it open-ended. So if you do something, they can say, hey, look, right here, we said you couldn't do that. But then again, it kind of also says you can do it. It doesn't say you can't do it. So they do that so they can, if something happens, they have free reign to just ban you or remove you. People always ask me, like, how do you trust Amazon to sell online with your income and your livelihood and all this stuff? Like, you never know what they're going to do. And it's like, you can go to any employer on the planet, and you never know if they're going to lay you off, they're going to terminate you. You're going to get a boss that just doesn't like you and just, sabotages your life. That's just part of life. So if you fear things like that, you're probably going to never make it in reselling anyway. Retail arbitrage is not a good long-term business plan unless you are selling your own brands or authorized to sell product brands. Your days on Amazon are numbered. And here's where we start to get real dark. I believe, retail arbitrage will most certainly die. In the way it is now anyway. People will always be buying stuff like that and flipping it. However, I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know how tight Amazon's going to be. Amazon's going to make it so third-party sellers can do this as long as possible. They don't really care if you're selling products, where you're getting them, as long as they're actual non-counterfeit products, if they follow all the guidelines, because they want that money. But they're not going to risk their business name to let people do that just freely. That's why they work with brand owners and are trying to appear to be doing things legally. At least that's how I see it. So do not look at retail arbitrage and be like, that's what I want to do the rest of my life, because I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Now, reselling, maybe building your own brand, private label, all that stuff is something you can do. And maybe not even sell on Amazon. I feel like if you're going to do that, you also want it to try to branch out from Amazon, have a sector just in case you get kicked out, then your brand can flourish there. Anyway, we're not going to get into that right now, but yeah, retail arbitrage will die. You heard it here first. Competition is brutal on Amazon, and if you're not careful, you will get burned. Over the last 5 years since I've started, competition has doubled. People realize they can sell stuff, but at the same time, even though it's getting higher, it's just changing. And if you change with it, you're going to do great. The main thing is I see people buying so much clearance at Walmart, and everyone's selling at 100 different sellers, and they drive the price down because nobody's patient. People put their paychecks in it or whatever and realize they can't get their money back because the price dropped, and it's going to stay down until everyone else sells out, and that may take a year or so. But just be aware that if you're buying stuff from Walmart or a retail place, there's thousands of other people doing it as well. Like I said, there's millions of people doing this. Returns will be higher with Amazon FBA. I sell on eBay as well, and my returns are minuscule compared to Amazon FBA because it's so easy for people to return it. Now with FBA, the product gets returned to Amazon, and Amazon will check it. If it's still new and in the same condition, they'll put it right back in the inventory. You don't even have to touch it. And then if not, you can either have it destroyed or you can have it sent back to you. It costs like 50 cents per item to have it shipped back to you, which is usually what I do because a lot of returns I can just resell. They're not in that bad of shape. And also I get boxes and void fill. It's quite nice. The 50 cents is nothing to get a box and void fill and my item back to potentially resell. So here we are at the end. I hope I didn't get too negative. I'm not trying to scare anyone off of trying this. I just want people to know that it is a difficult thing to do and it does take time. You can't expect to jump in on a new Amazon FBA account, be allowed to sell all this stuff, and you're not going to make a ton of money. Now there's probably some people out there who can start, can find certain items. There's really good business sense and can multiply that and do really well. Like I said, I'm not trying to discourage anyone at all. I just want to be the bad guy. I wanted to be the bad guy today and just be like, Amazon's hard, don't do it. But I hope it helps people, especially new people, just to know what you're getting into so you can be prepared and be successful. Amazon is a great opportunity, and for the people who realize it and take a lot of time to grow and realizes it can be gone tomorrow will do great. I just want to stress that just always know that Amazon will be, your ability to sell on Amazon and make money could be gone tomorrow. I'm hoping it still lasts for years because I'm doing great. However, I am preparing, you look for other ways to make income because I don't plan on ever going back to a 9-to-5 job. I cannot do it. So that's one of my biggest fears is to have to do that. And I've been, saving a great deal of money, and I'm looking at other business opportunities. I do trading and I have affiliate marketing, other stuff I do. However, Amazon is definitely the king on my income and the easiest way to scale. And I think about the day when it's gone, and it's sad. And I'm gonna ride the train as long as I can. And the train may go another 10, 15 years. So come and hop on with me. Maybe next year it'll be even harder for new sellers to get on. Maybe they'll only allow certain sellers that are doing certain volume or something, or are actually able to show distributor invoices or something. Who knows? So now's the best time to get started. If you haven't, I just want you to know again, the difficulty of it. Diversify your income, sell on Amazon, eBay, and other platforms, build your income and sell wholesale or have a product developed. Retail arbitrage is high risk and will become much more difficult as time goes on. The more people that get into retail arbitrage, the harder it's going to be, the longer you're going to have to wait for products. It's definitely easier if you're the last person to be selling a product because then you can just jack the price up. If you're the first person, obviously it's the same. It's just going to be more difficult as time goes on, and definitely consider as you grow your bankroll, consider investing in other things like the wholesale or private label. To wholesale and private label, you got to drop $5,000-$10,000. I do dabble in that a little bit, and I have spent quite a bit of money, and I have been successful. And you'll find that wholesale and private label, usually you're making less than what you would be doing retail arbitrage, just because your profits after fees and costs and everything are just going to be lower. You spend $10,000 and make $5,000. It could be nerve-wracking. But that's it. This is my video about being negative on Amazon. I don't like to say negative. I'm a realist, and I want to get that information out there, especially to my subscribers, because I don't want to see any of you, comment on a video or something saying that you spent, $2,000 and you lost it all or something, or you got kicked off Amazon and they're holding your income and they won't let you have it because they think you're a counterfeiter. Something like that. I don't want to hear it. I love hearing in the comments about people who have successfully watched my videos and have gotten into it and are doing well. I think that's really cool. But that's going to do it for this video, everybody. I'm going to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. I hope you learned something. Subscribe to me. You can see what I find while I'm out doing retail arbitrage and thrifting and just reselling in general. I vlog it. This has been Wick. Until next time.